I always knew my sister would be my downfall. I just didn't expect her to take my life savings with her. My name is Maeve, and until 3 days ago, I thought I was doing everything right. 2 jobs, careful budgeting, and a savings account that made me proud. While my younger sister Mackenzie lived in a downtown penthouse throwing champagne parties, I worked overtime shifts at the bank and waited tables on weekends. That was our dynamic. She sparkled, I struggled, and somehow that seemed normal to everyone but me. "Earth to Maeve!" Tyree's voice snapped me back to reality. We were sorting through the morning's mail at the bank, and I'd zoned out again. "Girl, you've been staring at that envelope for 5 minutes. I blinked at the misdelivered notice in my hands. It was addressed to my parents' house, where Mackenzie still got her mail, but something about the account number caught my eye. "Sorry, just thinking." "About your sister's party last night?" Tyree raised an eyebrow. "Saw it all over Instagram. Must have cost a fortune." "Yeah," I muttered, slipping the envelope into my bag instead of the return pile. "Must have." That evening, I sat at my parents' dining table, watching my mother Christine fuss over Mackenzie's latest modeling photos, while Dad nodded along, barely looking up from his phone. I cleared my throat. "Hey, Mom, weird question. Did anyone take out a loan in my name recently?" The fork stopped halfway to my mother's mouth, just for a second. "Of course not, sweetie. Why would you ask that?" "Just curious. Got some strange mail today." Mackenzie rolled her eyes. "God, Maeve, you're so paranoid about money. This is why you're still living in that dump, while I'm actually living my best life." "Mackenzie," Mom scolded, but there was no real heat in it. "Your sister is just responsible. Different people, different paths." Dad finally looked up. "Everything okay with your accounts, Maeve?" "Fine," I lied, studying their faces. "Everything's fine." Later that night in my apartment, I dialed the bank's after-hours number. My hands were shaking as I punched in the account number from the notice. "Yes, I can confirm there's a defaulted payment on the collateral loan," the representative said. "The original amount was $280,000, taken from savings account ending in 4891 approximately 2 years ago. Would you like me to—" I hung up. Account 4891, my college fund, my house down payment, my entire future. The room spun as pieces clicked into place. 2 years ago, right when Mackenzie moved into her penthouse, right when Mom started talking about family investments and supporting each other's dreams. My phone buzzed. A new Instagram notification, Mackenzie posting champagne boomerangs from some rooftop bar. The caption read, "Living my truth. Sorry not sorry for being blessed." I clicked through to her profile. Designer clothes, luxury vacations, spa days with her best friend Stacy, all funded by my money I'd earned working doubles, skipping vacations, living on ramen noodles. My hands stopped shaking. The dizziness cleared. In its place came something colder, sharper. I texted Tyree. "Remember that family lawyer you said was shady? Rick McCormick? I need everything you can find on him." Then I opened my laptop and created a new folder. Named it Evidence. Another text from Mackenzie lit up my phone. "Mom says you were asking weird questions at dinner. Don't be jealous just because some of us were meant for better things. Love you, sis." I stared at those little hearts and kisses, remembering every time I'd covered her bills. Every time I'd listened to Mom explain why Mackenzie needed new opportunities while I needed to work harder. Every time I'd believed that being the responsible one meant being the invisible one. "Love you too," I typed back. Then I opened my banking app and screenshot every transaction for the past 5 years. The game they'd been playing was about to change. Because here's the thing about being the responsible one. We notice everything. We keep receipts. We remember dates and numbers and signatures. And when we finally decide to stop being responsible, that's when the real trouble begins. I picked up my phone one more time and dialed Rick McCormick's office number. When his voicemail picked up, I left a message in my calmest banking professional voice. "Hi, Rick. It's Maeve. I need copies of all documents with my signature from the past 3 years, every single one. I'm sure you know why. Call me back before I call the State Bar Association. Then I poured myself a glass of wine, opened my evidence folder, and started planning how to burn my sister's perfect life to the ground. Rick McCormick's office was exactly what you'd expect from a family lawyer who'd lost his moral compass, all mahogany and manufactured importance. He shuffled papers on his desk, avoiding my eyes. "Those documents you requested," he cleared his throat. "There seems to be some confusion about access rights." I leaned forward. "Confusion? About my own financial documents? Your mother is actually the primary account holder on several of these. On my personal savings account?" I pulled out my phone and hit record. "The one I opened when I was 18? That account?" His face tightened. "Maeve, let's be reasonable. Family matters are complex." "You know what's not complex? Fraud." I placed a copy of the loan document on his desk. "That's my signature, Rick, except I never signed it. Want to explain that?" He stood up, straightening his tie. "I think we're done here." "We're really not." I pulled out another paper. "Because this is Mackenzie's lease agreement. And look, there's my signature again, as a co-signer. Funny, since I've never even been to that building." The blood drained from his face. "I'll need copies of everything by tomorrow," I said, standing. "Or I'll file a complaint with the Bar Association. And trust me, I've got enough evidence to make it stick." Back at work, Tyree was waiting at my desk. "Girl, you look like you just went 12 rounds with the devil." "Close. Family lawyer." I collapsed into my chair. "He's definitely involved." "How bad?" I showed him the lease agreement. His eyes widened. "Damn, that's not even a good forgery." He studied the paper. "Wait, look at this handwriting in the margins. Looks like your mom's." I grabbed the document. There it was, Christine's distinctive cursive, making notes about payment schedules. "Got her," I whispered. My phone buzzed. "Mackenzie. Having an emergency. Need you to come to the apartment ASAP." "Don't go," Tyree warned. "It's a trap." "Oh, I'm counting on it." The penthouse lobby was all marble and judgment. The doorman barely glanced at me, probably used to Mackenzie's less fortunate sister by now. I found her sprawled on her designer couch, Stacy perched nearby like an expensive bird. "Thank God you're here," Mackenzie wailed. "Mom said you were asking about loans. You have to help me. The bank is being totally weird about payments." Stacy sipped her wine. "They're so unreasonable about deadlines." I looked around the apartment. My apartment, technically, since my savings and signature paid for it. "What seems to be the problem?" "They're saying the collateral account is empty?" Mackenzie pouted. "But Mom said that was all handled. Can you just fix it? You're good with boring money stuff." "Sure," I said slowly. "I'll need to see the paperwork, though." "It's somewhere." She waved vaguely at a pile of unopened envelopes. "Mom usually deals with it." "Of course she does." I picked up one of the notices. Default warnings, collection threats, all addressed to me. "While you're handling that," Mackenzie brightened, "want to hear about my huge party next month? Stacy's planning everything. It's going to be epic." Stacy nodded eagerly. "Gatsby theme. Everyone who's anyone will be there." "Sounds expensive," I said. "Oh, Mom said the family's covering it," Mackenzie beamed. "She said something about another investment opportunity?" My stomach turned. They were planning to steal more. "I should get these to the bank," I said, gathering the notices. "By the way, who's on the lease here?" "Oh, God, I don't know." Mackenzie laughed. "Mom handled all that boring paperwork. I just picked the view." I took a photo of the lease agreement framed on her wall, required by building management. There was my forged signature, right next to Mom's real one. "Thanks for helping," Mackenzie called as I left. "You're the best sister ever." In the elevator, I forwarded everything to my new lawyer. Then I texted Tyree, Found the smoking gun. Mom's handwriting is all over the fraud. His response was immediate. Time to burn it all down? I watched the floor numbers tick down, thinking about Mackenzie's party plans, about Mom's new investment opportunity, about the years of lies. Not yet, I replied. First, we let them dig the hole deeper. The elevator doors opened, and I stepped out into the lobby with a new lightness. Because now I knew, really knew, what I was dealing with. This wasn't just about money. This was about a lifetime of manipulation, with Mom as the puppet master and Mackenzie as her favorite doll. Well, I was done being the family ATM, done being the responsible one they could bleed dry, let them plan their party, let them think I was still the quiet, helpful sister. They had no idea what was coming. The attic of my parents' house smelled like broken promises and old Christmas decorations. I was supposedly looking for my birth certificate, but really I was hunting for anything that could help me understand how deep this betrayal went. Need help up there? Dad called from below. I'm good. I shuffled through another box, listening to his footsteps retreat. That's when I found it, a dusty envelope marked, "For Mackenzie, trust documents," with my name violently scratched out underneath. My hands trembled as I opened it. Oh my God. The trust document inside detailed an inheritance from my grandmother. My inheritance. Dated 3 years ago, with a sticky note in Mom's handwriting. Transfer to M's apartment fund. Don't tell Maeve. My phone buzzed. Speaking of the devil. Honey, Mom's voice dripped honey. Are you coming to dinner? Mackenzie has exciting news. I stuffed the document into my bag. Wouldn't miss it. The exciting news turned out to be Mackenzie's modeling contract. She pranced around the dining room, showing off her portfolio, while Mom beamed and Dad nodded mechanically. And the agency says I'm a natural, Mackenzie gushed. They just need a small investment to get started. I gripped my fork tighter. How small? Only $50,000. She waved her hand dismissively. Mom says we can figure something out. Like you figured out my college tuition? The words slipped out before I could stop them. The room went silent. What's that supposed to mean? Mom's voice had an edge. Nothing. I forced a smile. Just remembering how I worked 3 jobs while Mackenzie got a new car. That was different, Mom snapped. Your sister has special needs. Yeah, like a trust fund that wasn't hers? The color drained from Mom's face. Dad suddenly became very interested in his potatoes. I found the documents, I continued, my voice steady. Grandmother's inheritance, my inheritance. Want to explain that? Mackenzie rolled her eyes. Oh my God, are you still obsessed with money? This is why you're so boring. Shut up. I stood up, hands flat on the table. Just shut up for once in your entitled life. Maeve, Mom gasped. Apologize to your sister. Apologize? I laughed, pulling out the trust document. Like you apologized for stealing my inheritance, or forging my signature, or using my savings as collateral? Dad finally looked up. Your mother was just trying to... To what? Help her favorite daughter live in luxury while I worked myself to exhaustion? I turned to Mackenzie. Did you know where all your money really came from? She blinked, genuine confusion on her face. Mom said it was family money. It was. My family money. Mom stood up, switching to damage control mode. Sweetheart, everything I did was for this family. No. I backed away from the table. Everything you did was for her, and I'm done funding her fairy tale. I walked out, ignoring their calls. In my car, I pulled out my phone and dialed Tyree. How'd it go? Found proof of the inheritance theft. My voice cracked. They're already planning to steal more for her modeling scam. You okay? I watched through the window as Mom comforted a crying Mackenzie. No, but I will be. The next day, I started making calls. First, to every bank where Mom had accounts. Then to the modeling agency, which turned out to be a known scam operation. Finally, to a forensic accountant Tyree recommended. Your mother's been busy, the accountant said, reviewing the documents. Multiple loans, forged signatures, hidden accounts. This goes back years. I thought about all those years. Mackenzie's sweet 16 party while I worked overtime. Her spring break trips while I took summer classes. Her designer wardrobe while I bought clearance. Can you trace it all? He nodded. Every penny. Want me to prepare a report? Make it detailed and make it public record ready. That night, I couldn't sleep. I scrolled through Mackenzie's Instagram, a digital shrine to stolen wealth. Every post tagged with Kakshara blessed how living my best life, and her family, first made my blood boil hotter. My phone lit up with a text from Mom. We need to talk about this as a family. Come over tomorrow? I typed back, no thanks, I'm done talking. Another text, this time from Mackenzie. You're just jealous because Mom always believed in my dreams. I saved the screenshot. More evidence of delusion for the pile. Because that's the thing about family betrayal. It doesn't happen overnight. It's built on years of small cruelties, of chosen favorites, of stolen chances. They'd taken my money, yes, but they'd taken so much more than that. Well, now it was my turn to take something, their carefully constructed lies, and I knew exactly how to do it. You're going to need a bulletproof will, my lawyer said, sliding the documents across her desk. Your family's already proven they can forge signatures. I signed where she pointed. Already done. Everything goes to charity if anything happens to me. Smart girl. She filed the papers. The new accounts are locked too. Your mother won't be able to touch them. Back at work, Tyree was deep in Mackenzie's social media. This party she's planning? It's insane. Look at the vendor deposits. I leaned over his shoulder. The numbers made me sick. More money than I made in a year, spent on a single night. She's calling it her Grand Ascension, he read. Gatsby theme, gold everything, live entertainment. Guest list looks like a who's who of local influencers. Perfect. I pulled up my own screen. Let's see who's funding it. The trail wasn't hard to follow. Mom had opened 3 new credit lines, all using my Social Security number. The catering deposit alone was more than my rent. They really think they'll get away with it again? I muttered. Not this time. Tyree pointed to his screen. Look who's planning it. Stacy's event planning page was full of party teasers. The social event of the season, she promised, a night that will change lives. She had no idea how right she was. My phone buzzed with a notification, a direct message from an anonymous account. You don't know the half of it. Ask about the house deed. A friend. What the hell? I showed Tyree. Could be a trap, he warned, or could be someone else they screwed over. I took a screenshot. Either way, worth checking out. After work, I drove to the county records office. The clerk looked bored as she pulled up my parents' address. Interesting, she mumbled. Property's been refinanced 6 times in the past 5 years. Most recent was 3 months ago. Can I see the documents? She printed them out. There it was. My name, forged again, as co-signer on a home equity loan. They use my credit for everything, I realized. The house, the apartment, the party. Speaking of the party, Tyree texted, your sister just went live on Instagram. I pulled up the stream. Mackenzie was touring the venue, a historic mansion with marble fountains and crystal chandeliers. This is where I'm celebrating my rise to the top, she gushed. Thanks to my amazing family for making dreams come true. The comments flooded with heart emojis and congratulations. Her perfect audience, eating up her perfect lies. Time to start phase 2, I texted Tyree. First, I created a private document detailing every fraud, every forged signature, every stolen dollar. Then I started making lists. Party vendors, guest list influencers, local media contacts. Anonymous tips about a high society scandal? Tyree suggested. Better. I drafted an email. Anonymous tips about financial fraud and identity theft. Media loves a fallen socialite story. My phone buzzed again, Mom calling for the 5th time today. I let it go to voicemail. Honey, please, her message begged. We can fix this as a family. Don't do anything rash. Delete. Next came Mackenzie's text. Can't believe you're being so difficult. Mom's crying because of you. Way to ruin everything like always. I screenshot that too. Evidence of emotional manipulation. The lawyer would love it. The party's in 2 weeks, Tyree said. What's the plan? I pulled up the venue contract, another document with my forged signature. We let them have their party, let them spend every dollar, let Mackenzie stand up in front of everyone she's trying to impress. And then we show everyone exactly who paid for their champagne dreams. My phone lit up with another anonymous message. The house deed is just the start. There's more. Check the safety deposit box at First National, box 201. Who is this? I typed back. Someone who wants to watch them burn, too. I saved the message and opened my evidence folder. Inside were subfolders for each betrayal: the inheritance, the apartment, the loans, the party. I created a new one, the house, because that's the thing about revenge. It's not enough to just expose one lie. You have to unravel the whole tapestry. Let every thread come loose until there's nothing left but the ugly truth. And my family, they'd woven quite a web of lies. Time to bring out the scissors. The safety deposit box key felt heavy in my hand. Dad sat across from me in the bank's private viewing room, looking smaller than I'd ever seen him. How did you know about the box? He asked. Does it matter? I placed Grandmother's inheritance papers on the table. Want to tell me what else I'll find in here? His hands shook as he helped me open the box. Inside, decades of secrets waited in manila envelopes. Your mother? He started, then stopped. I should have protected you, but you didn't. I pulled out the first envelope. You let her steal from me instead. The documents told a story of systematic theft. My college fund, drained. My first car payment, diverted. Even my childhood savings bonds, cashed out for Mackenzie's sweet 16. She said it was temporary, Dad whispered, that we'd pay it all back. When? I spread the papers across the table. After you remortgaged the house in my name? After you destroyed my credit? He buried his face in his hands. I'm so sorry. Sorry doesn't pay back $280,000. It was wrong, he admitted. But your mother, she can be very persuasive when it comes to Mackenzie. I laughed bitterly. That's your excuse? Mom was persuasive? You don't understand. When your grandmother died, I understand perfectly. I held up the trust document. Grandmother left me the inheritance because she saw exactly what Mom was doing, and Mom stole it anyway. Dad's shoulders started shaking. To my shock, he was crying. Your mother, he choked out. She forged my signature, too, on the house papers. I didn't know until the bank called about missed payments. I sat back, stunned. She's stealing from you, too? He nodded miserably. Everything goes to Mackenzie's career. The modeling contracts, the parties, the lifestyle. Christine says we have to maintain appearances, while destroying my future. I should have stopped her. He looked up, eyes red. But now, I don't know how. My phone buzzed. Mackenzie posting another party preview. Gold-dipped roses, custom cocktails, live performers, all funded by fraud. Does Mackenzie know? I asked. About where the money comes from? Your mother tells her it's family money, investment returns. He laughed hollowly. Mackenzie never questions it. Why would she? She's never had to work for anything. Another buzz, Mom this time. The party planner needs another deposit. I'll handle it like usual. Like usual, I repeated. By forging my signature? Dad flinched. There's something else you should know. He pulled out the final envelope. Inside was a letter from my grandmother, dated just before her death. Dear Maeve, it began. "I'm leaving you my estate because you're the only one who understands the value of hard work. Don't let your mother's favoritism poison your spirit. You're stronger than that." My vision blurred. "Your mother hid the letter," Dad said quietly, "along with the inheritance papers. She said it would only hurt Mackenzie's feelings." And my feelings didn't matter? To Christine? No. He stood up slowly. "I'm leaving her." I looked up sharply. "What?" "After the party. I've been talking to a lawyer." He straightened his shoulders. "I should have done it years ago, before she could hurt you like this." My phone buzzed again. "Mackenzie, Mom says you're being difficult about the party money. Don't be such a jealous bitch." I showed Dad the message. "She's just like her mother," he sighed. "No," I corrected him. "They made her like this. You all did." I gathered the documents, leaving him one copy of each. "The party's in 10 days. You might want to be gone before then." "What are you going to do?" I thought about Mackenzie's grand entrance, Mom's proud smile, all those influencers ready to document every moment. "I'm going to give them exactly the party they deserve." Outside the bank, I called Tyree. "Got the proof?" "More than we needed." I started my car. "Dad's been a victim, too. He's leaving Mom." "Damn," he whistled. "This is going to be better than any reality show." Speaking of shows, I pulled up Mackenzie's latest party post. "Think it's time we introduced some plot twists?" "What did you have in mind?" I smiled, thinking of all those documents, all that evidence, all those party guests with their social media accounts and camera phones. "Mom wants to maintain appearances?" I said. "Let's give her an appearance she'll never forget." Because that's the thing about family secrets. They only have power while they stay hidden. And I was done hiding. Time to step into the spotlight. "Your sister's party is trending," Tyree said, showing me his phone. "Gatsby Glam is all over Twitter." I was at his apartment, finalizing our plan. Stacks of manila envelopes covered his coffee table, each addressed to a different party guest. "Stacy's really outdoing herself," I noted, scrolling through the previews. "Look at these place settings. Gold dipped everything." "Paid for with your gold." He sealed another envelope. "You sure about sending these to all the influencers?" I nodded, picking up one of the letters we'd drafted. "Dear valued guest, before celebrating at the Grand Ascension, you should know where the money really came from." "They'll post everything," he warned. "That's the point." My phone buzzed. Dad's new burner number. "Left the house. Staying with my brother. Christine's furious." "Good," I texted back. "Stay gone until after Saturday." Mackenzie called next. I actually answered this one. "Where have you been?" she demanded. "Mom's freaking out about Dad, and we need you to sign some papers for the party." "More fraud documents?" I asked sweetly. She paused. "What?" "Never mind. Can't make it today. Busy with work." "Oh, you're so boring. This party is important. Everyone who matters will be there." "Oh, I know." I looked at the envelopes. "Trust me, I wouldn't miss it." After hanging up, I called the venue manager. "Yes, I'm the co-signer on the contract," I confirmed. "I need to verify something about the payment structure." "Of course, Ms. Owens. The final installment is due tomorrow. Your mother already called about processing it." "Let me guess. She's using my account information?" "That's what's on file, yes." "Perfect," I smiled. "Process it exactly as planned, but I need you to hold on to something for Saturday night." The next day, I watched my bank account as the final party payment went through. Mom had forged my signature again, right on schedule. "Last chance to back out," Tyree said as we dropped the envelopes at the post office. They had 1,000 chances to do the right thing. I handed the clerk the stack of letters. "Their time's up." That night, Mackenzie went live on Instagram again, showing off her party dress. "Can't wait for everyone to see my true destiny unfold." The comments flooded in. "You're living the dream." "Such an inspiration." Goals AF! I screenshot them all. They'd make a nice before and after collection. Mom called twice more that week. I let her leave voicemails. Maeve, please, your father's being ridiculous. We need to present a united front at the party. The vendors are asking questions. Call me back immediately. Delete. Delete. Saturday morning, I got ready with military precision. Black dress, expensive but understated. Hair and makeup perfect but not flashy. The kind of outfit that says, I mean business, without screaming it. First batch of letters should be arriving today, Tyree texted. Right on cue, my phone exploded with notifications. The influencers were DMing each other, sharing snippets of the letters. Questions started appearing under Mackenzie's latest posts. Is it true about the fraud? Where did the money really come from? Someone said there's proof. Mackenzie posted frantically. Don't listen to the haters. Tonight will be legendary. Mom called again. This time I answered. What have you done? She hissed. Nothing yet. I checked my lipstick in the mirror. See you tonight. The final piece arrived at 4 p.m. An email from the bank confirming the fraud investigation was officially opened. I forwarded it to the venue manager along with the eviction notice for Mackenzie's apartment. Hold these until I give the signal, I instructed. My phone lit up with a text from Stacy, of all people. Just saw the proof. Holy shit. Are you really going to do this? Watch me. Because here's the thing about Karma. She doesn't just knock. She kicks the door down and makes herself at home. I grabbed my purse, checking one last time that I had everything. The original documents, the bank statements, the forged signatures, 3 years of receipts and records, all pointing to one massive fraud. Ready? Tyree texted. I looked at myself in the mirror, the responsible sister, the quiet one, the family ATM, not anymore. On my way, I replied. Time to crash a party. Tonight, Mackenzie wanted everyone to witness her grand ascension. Instead, they'd witness her spectacular fall. The mansion glittered like a fever dream. Guests in designer clothes clutched champagne flutes, phones ready to capture every moment. I slipped in quietly, nodding to the venue manager. Everything's ready, she whispered, passing me a small envelope. Mackenzie held court near the fountain, draped in gold sequins. Mom hovered nearby, her smile tight as she checked her phone repeatedly. Maeve! Mackenzie squealed, spotting me. You actually dressed up for once. Wouldn't miss it. I accepted a champagne flute. Big night for the family, right, Mom? Mom's eyes narrowed. Darling, could we speak privately? Actually, I think Mackenzie's about to make her speech. Right on cue, Stacy clinked her glass. Everyone, please welcome our stunning hostess. Mackenzie floated to the makeshift stage, beaming as phones raised to record. Tonight is about destiny, she began. About rising above, about claiming your birthright. I moved to the back of the room, nodding to the security guard. He opened the door, letting in 2 suited individuals, bank investigators. Through hard work and family support, Mackenzie continued, I've created a life most people only dream of. Now, Tyree texted from his position near the audio controls. Wait for it. And none of this would be possible without my amazing mother, who always believed in me. I caught Stacy's eye. She gave a slight nod, stepping away from the crowd. So, raise your glasses, Mackenzie declared, to new beginnings. Perfect timing, I murmured, signaling Tyree. The lights dimmed. A projector hummed to life, displaying financial documents on the wall behind Mackenzie. What? She turned, squinting at the numbers. Allow me to translate, I called out, my voice carrying across the suddenly quiet room. Those are bank records showing exactly how this party, and everything else, was funded. Phone swiveled toward me. Perfect. Maeve, Mom warned, starting forward. Through fraud, I continued. Identity theft, forged signatures, all using my savings, my inheritance, my credit. Murmurs rippled through the crowd. Mackenzie's mouth opened and closed like a goldfish. That's ridiculous, she stammered. Mom, tell them. I have proof. I held up the documents. Every transaction, every forge, every theft. Would anyone like to see? This is private family business, Mom hissed, reaching for my arm. Private, I laughed, like the loan documents you forged or the trust fund you stole. The bank investigators stepped forward. Mrs. Owens, we have some questions about these accounts. Mackenzie's face crumpled. Mom, what's happening? What's happening, I said, is reality. No more fairy tales, no more stolen money. I nodded to the venue manager, who stepped forward with the final envelope. Speaking of reality, here's your eviction notice, Mackenzie. The apartment lease fraud was discovered. You have 48 hours to vacate. You can't, she shrieked. This is my night, my destiny. Your destiny was built on my stolen money. I turned to the crowd. Feel free to post about that. I'm sure your followers would love the truth about Leonardo Gatsby glam. Phones were already recording. Stacy, proving her influencer instincts, was live streaming the whole thing. You're just jealous, Mackenzie screamed. You've always been jealous of me. No, I stepped closer. I was your ATM, your safety net, the responsible sister who worked while you played princess. Mom tried one last time. Everything I did was for this family. Everything you did was fraud. I handed the bank investigators their copies, and now everyone knows it. The crowd parted as the investigators approached Mom. Mackenzie's mascara ran in black streaks as she backed away from her ruined party. How could you do this to me, she sobbed. Funny, I smiled. I've been asking myself the same thing for years. Security began ushering guests out. Phones kept recording as Mom was escorted to a private room for questioning. Mackenzie collapsed into Stacy's arms, but Stacy, reading the room, quickly stepped away. The police have been called, the venue manager informed me quietly. I nodded, watching my sister's perfect world crumble in real time. Her followers were already jumping ship, captions changing from Leonardo Gatsby glam to Leonardo family drama and Rummer fraud exposed. Maeve, Mackenzie called weakly as I headed for the door. Please, I didn't know. I paused. That's the problem. You never wanted to know. You just took and took and took. What am I supposed to do now? Get a job. I pushed open the door. Like the rest of us. Outside, Tyree waited with my car. That, he said, was better than any reality show I've ever seen. I looked back at the mansion, where police lights now flashed against the golden decorations. Show's over, I said. Time for the cleanup. But Stacy blocked my path, phone still recording. You just ended her, she said. Good, but now what? The aftermath hit like a tsunami. Mom was charged with multiple counts of fraud and identity theft. Dad filed for divorce. Mackenzie's perfect Instagram life imploded in a storm of unfollows and expose videos. I declined every interview request. Let them piece the story together from court documents and social media fallout. They're calling it the Great Gatsby Grift, Tyree said, showing me the headlines. Your sister's trending for all the wrong reasons now. I was packing my apartment surrounded by boxes. The recovered money, plus interest and damages, had finally cleared. Time for a fresh start. My phone buzzed. Dad. The divorce papers are filed, he said. Your mother, she's not taking it well. Is she taking responsibility? No, he sighed. She's still saying it was all for the family. Another call beeped through. Mackenzie. I actually answered. My followers are gone, she said quietly. The modeling agency dropped me. I had to move in with Stacy. Karma's funny like that. I applied for a job today. Her voice cracked. At a coffee shop. Me, making coffee for people. Welcome to the real world. Did you have to destroy everything? I looked at my bank statement, at the numbers finally reflecting my years of work. You can't destroy what was never real. She was quiet for a moment. I really didn't know about the fraud, about your money. Would it have mattered if you did? The silence answered for her. "Good luck with the coffee shop," I said, and hung up. The local news ran stories about social media scams and family financial abuse. Mom's arrest photo went viral. Mackenzie's followers documented her fall from grace with the same enthusiasm they'd once shown for her rise. "You could make bank on interviews," Tyree pointed out as he helped me load boxes into my car. "Not interested." I handed him an envelope. "But I did write this." He opened it, a cashier's check for $20,000. "What's this for?" "Being the only person who saw through their lies." I smiled, "and helping me prove it." "Girl, I don't need—" "Take it. Consider it consulting fees for the best revenge plot ever." He laughed, tucking the check away. "Where will you go?" "Somewhere quiet, somewhere without hashtags and galas and family expectations." My phone buzzed again, a text from Mom's number. "I hope you're happy. You've ruined this family." I showed Tyree, who snorted. "She still doesn't get it." "No," I agreed. "She never will." One last box remained, filled with documents, screenshots, evidence of years of theft. I'd kept copies of everything, just in case. "What about that?" Tyree nodded at the box. I lifted it, feeling its weight. All those lies, all that manipulation, reduced to paper and ink. "Evidence locker at the courthouse has the originals," I said. "This is just insurance? Against what?" "Against anyone forgetting what really happened." Because that's the thing about family secrets. They don't stay buried. They grow like weeds, choking out everything real and true until someone has the courage to rip them out by the roots. "Ready?" Tyree asked as I closed the trunk. I looked around my empty apartment. Thought about Mom in her jail cell, Dad in his new freedom, Mackenzie learning how to make lattes. "Actually," I said, "there's one last stop." We drove to my grandmother's grave. I hadn't been there since the funeral, since before I knew about the inheritance she'd left me, the letter Mom had hidden. I placed fresh flowers by the headstone. "You were right," I told her, "about all of it, about Mom, about Mackenzie, about me being stronger than their games." Tyree waited respectfully by the car as I said goodbye. "I used the money like you wanted," I continued, "to build something real, something they can't take." Wind rustled through the trees. Somewhere in the distance, church bells rang. "Thank you," I whispered, "for seeing me when they didn't." Back at the car, Tyree hugged me goodbye. "Sure you don't want company for the drive?" "I'm sure," I smiled. Time to write my own story. Without the family drama? Without the lies. I got in the car. That's all I ever wanted. As I drove away, my phone lit up one last time. A final text from Mackenzie. "I get it now. Why you did it. I'm sorry it took losing everything to understand." I didn't reply. Some lessons have to be learned the hard way. They taught me that blood meant loyalty. Now I know. Loyalty is earned. And karma doesn't knock. She kicks the damn door in.